Morning, everyone. Today I'm going to report Chapter 9, Debt Restructuring. Debt restructuring is a situation where the creditor, for economic or legal reasons related to the debtor's financial difficulties, grants the debtor's concession that would not otherwise be granted in a normal business relationship. So, yun nga. So, ang debt restructuring yung nangyayari kapag ang debt kapag ang borrowing entity ay magkakaroon ng financial difficulties or cash flow problem or mga problema sa cash, kaya naman hindi niya mababayaran yung kanyang mga entity or mga utang. So, the objective of the creditor in a debt restructuring is to make the best of a bad situation or maximize recovery of investment. So there's a three types of debt restructuring. First, asset swap. Second, equity swap. Third, modification of terms. So first, what is asset swap? Asset swap is the transfer by debtor to the creditor of any assets such as real estate, inventory, receivables, and investment in full payment of an obligation. So katong mga asset nga i-transfer ni debtor sa atong creditor bilang mo yun yung obligasyon bitaw. It means mooy kapalit or bayad. So according under paragraph 3.3.1 of PFRS 9, asset swap is treated as the derecognitions of financial liability or extinguishment of an obligation. So derecognition of financial liability means kanang is this the removal of previous recognized of financial asset from entities balance sheet. So under paragraph 3.3.3 of PFRS 9, difference between carrying amount of the financial liability and consideration given shall be recognized in profit or loss. So ang difference sa atong carrying amount dapat to siya recognized as profit or loss. So next is how we can get the gain or loss extinguishment of debt. So to get the gain or loss extinguishment debt, so total liability which is arises from the payables or any interest that we accrued, atong iles atong carrying amount of assets to get the gain or loss extinguishment of debt. So natay computation and example sunod na name. So here's an entity provided the following balance at year end: net payable of 2 million, acquired interest payable of 400,000. At year end, the entity transferred to the creditor land with carrying amount of 1.5 million and fair value of 2.2 million. So here's na natay kanang computation na ni. So what lang I will explain to you the how 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 unsa to pagkuha ang gain or loss sa atong engagement of debt. So here's our computation. According sa illustration, ang entity daw or ang debtor kay naay 2 million note payable o na siya 400,000 acquired interest payable, which is matotal siya total liability nga 2.4 million nga gikan sa creditor. So at year end, mi transfer siya yuta nga naay carrying amount nga 1.5 million. So 1.5 million with enter value of 2.2 million. Since according sa standard IFRS, ang atong pansinon ra is ang carrying amount nga which is 1.5 million. Kapag atong gi-minus ang 2.4 million ug ang 1.5 million na siya total nga 900,000 total or gain na siya 900,000 gain on extinguishment of debt. Kay gain extinguishment debt sa part sa debtor na to. Kay ngano? Kaya mas gamay man ang iyang transfer nga asset kaysa sa utang sa creditor, di ba? Ang gi-transfer nga amount ra sa atong debtor is 1.5 million. So mas gamay ra man siya, mas dako ang gi-transfer nga amount sa creditor. So ang atong debtor na siya nag-gain nga amount na 900,000 atong journal entry atong i-debit ang liability nga na-extinguish atong debtor. So which is the note payable of 2 million with accrued interest of payable. So atong isang i-debit. So para po sa atong credit ang atong mga assets which is land with carrying amount of 1.5 million o atong gain or on extinguishment of debt nga atong gisold ganina nga which is equivalent to 900,000 mo na to silang i-credit. Next is under USC GAAP, asset swap is recorded as if two transactions have taken place, namely first sales of the assets or two extinguishment of the liability. So accordingly, two gains or losses are recognized. So two gains or duha ka losses ra ba ma-recognize ito. So how can we get the gain or loss of an exchange under USC GAAP? So fair value of assets less carrying amount of assets is equals to gain or loss on exchange. So how can we get the total liability? Gain or loss of this restructuring. So our total liability minus fair value of an assets is equals to gain or loss on this debt restructuring. Mo na itong formula. Mo itong hinumduman galingin to how to get the under USC GAAP. So illustration, asset swap. An entity provided the following balances at year-end: note payable of 2 million, accrued interest payable of 400,000. At year-end, the entity transferred to the creditor land with carrying amount of 1.5 million and per value. So under sa USA GAAP natay duha ka computations to get the gain or loss exchange or ang atong gain or loss on debt restructuring. So how can we get our gain on exchange? So first with atong i-minus ang atong carrying amount sa atong fair value of land. So ang atong fair value of land is 2.2 million man siya. So less to our carrying amount of land which is equivalent to 1.5 million. So if atong is lang i-minus, it's naslay 7,000 nga gain. So in the total nga gain. So naay 7,000 gain or na ginansya. So to get our gain on debt restructuring, so atong i-add ang atong note payable o atong accrued interest payable. So 2 million note payable add accrued interest payable of 400,000 is equivalent to total liability of 2.4 million. So to get the gain and debt restructuring, we need to minus the fair value from the total liability. So ang total liability na to is 2.4 million. Ato siya sa i-minus sa fair value of land. Per pila itong fair value sa itong land? Fair value of the land is 2.2 million. So 2.4 million minus 2.2 million is equivalent to 200,000. So ang 200,000 mao na atong gain on debt restructuring. Thank you. So ako sa atong journal entry sa atong USA GAAP, atong i-debit gyapon ang atong note payable o accrued interest payable. So ang atong i-debit ang 2 million nga note payable o accrued interest payable nga 400,000. Nya atong i-credit ang mga assets nga land which is equivalent to 1.5 million. Nya ato pong i-credit ang gain on exchange nga 700,000 kayo is i-GAAP man ta. So atong i-credit ang atong gain on exchange o ang atong gain on this debt restructuring. So ato silang iparehos la ibutan nato sa duha sa credit nga na pag-entry sa USA GAAP. Next is Dashon in Pango accounting arises when a mortgage property is offered by debtor in full settlement of debt. So kani nga transaction ato siyang ma-accounted for as an asset swap of debt restructuring. So it requires our recognitions of gain or loss based on the balance of regulations including acquired interest or other charges katong mga charges nga legal fees or service charges. To get our gain or loss extinguishment of debt by using the under Dasho and Pago, just follow this formula. So illustration, asset swap, Dasho and Pago, land costing 500,000 and building costing of 4 million with accumulated depreciations of 800,000 were mortgaged to secure a bank of loan of 3 million, face amount of loan 3 million, acquired interest payable 200,000, legal fee and bank service charges 50,000. Subsequently, the land and building were given to the bank in a full payment of the liability. So ang atong land or building was kanang it was given to the bank to the full payment of our liability. In our computations for Dasho and Pago accounting, so we'll compute the gain or loss o extinguishment of the debt. So atong solusyonon si JAF, ang atong bang debtor is nakaginansya ba siya or nalusan siya kwarta. So how to compute the Dasho and Pago accounting? So pareha gyapon sa IFRS tong asset swap bitaw katong ug katong sa ngadto ra gyapon nga pamaagi ang atong buhaton para magit nato ang Dasho and Pago, which is atong kwaon ang total liability ni ni debtors nga gikan ni creditor, which comprise of face amount of 3 million, accrued plus accrued interest of 200,000 and plus legal fees and bank charges of 50,000. So atong total na silang tulo is equivalent to 3,250,000. So ato pag human na ato siyang iles ang atong carrying amount of land and building. So which is a total of 500,000 for our land and 3.2 million for building. So which is a total of 3.7 million. So since nga mas dako man ang atong carrying amount or asset nga gigawas ni sa atong credit sa atong debtor, so na siya loss nga kwarta kay 3 to 50 ra may ayang nakuha nga kwarta gikan ni creditor. So ang nagawas nga kwarta sa atong debtor or asset is 3.7 million man. So pila iyang less, so atos lang i-subtract. So the total of our loss of extinguishment of debt is 450,000. So nalosan og kwarta ang atong debtor og 450,000. So mao na siya Dasho and Pago accounting. Next, we will proceed to equity swap. So equity swap is the transactions whereby debtor and creditor may renegotiate the terms of a financial liability with the result that the liability is fully or partially extinguished by the debtor issuing equity instruments to the creditor. So kaning equity swap is kaning muhatag buto siya equity as issuance ba nga sa niya sa creditor. So simply stated, an equity swap is the issuance of a share capital by the debtor to the creditor in full or partial payment of an obligations. So according sa IFRIC 19 provides that when equity instrument issued to extinguish all or part of financial liability are recognized initially, an entity shall measure the equity instrument at the fair value of the equity instrument issued unless that the fair value cannot be reliably measured. Excuse me. Next, we have simply stated that equity instrument issued to extinguish a financial liability shall be measured at the following amounts in order to priority. So kani nga tulong ang if
kani nga tulo, fair value of equity instrument issued, fair value of liability extinguished, o carrying amount of liability extinguished, is pa nga pamaagi po na sila to get our share premium and gain or loss extinguishment of debt. So here is our example of equity swap. Acctg showed that following data at year-end: bonds payable, acquired interest payable of 500,000. The entity issued share capital with a total par value of 2 million and par value of 4.5 million in full settlement of the bonds payable and acquired interest. On other hand, the par value of bonds payable is 4,700,000. So, natay solution na
when we get, in our illustration, so saan na ito pagkuha atong equity swap? So, natay tulo ka pamaagi. Once kani ang atong istoryahan is, ang fair value of share is issued niya, mo na itong gamiton nga formula. Pero mo, atong tulo ka pamaagi is mamaora man siya. Ang lahi lang is ang kanang kang ipamutangan o gastiris kanina. Kani. So, fair value of issues issued. So, ang fair value of issues issued niya is ato is 4.5 million man. Itong less ang atong par value of shares issued nga 2 million. So, once nga atong less na siya, is equivalent to the 2.5 million. Which is, ang 2.5 million is mauna na siya ang atong share premium. Mauna siya ang share premium. So, in other hand, when to get the gain on extinguishment of debt, di ba I told you earlier nga, ang equity swap is, para maka-entry ta sa atong equity swap, need to i-recognize ang share premium o ang gain or loss extinguishment of debt. So, how to get the gain or loss extinguishment of debt? So, atong carrying amounts of funds payable nga 5 million plus 500,000, which is equivalent to 500,500, ato na siyang lesan sa atong per value of shares issued. Katong pinatong share value to ganin siya share nga na issue. Ang share issued is ganina is 4,500,000. Nasa itong illustration siya, no? So, if atong i-less ng duha, atong i-minus, is equivalent to 1 million. Kaya mas dako man ang bali na gawas sa atong nagawas sa atong creditor, nga gamay rang asset nga nagawas sa atong creditor sa debtor na to. So, it means nakagain siya. Nakagainan siya 1 million. So, atong gain of extinguishment of debt is 1 million. Sabot? Pero, dili ang shared, o ang na-issue ang shared, o ang bonds payable, per value of bonds payable, ang na-issue, ang atong gamiton is kani nga formula. Same ra gyapon. Pero lahi na ang mga entry. FB of bonds payable. Fair value of bonds payable. So pila atong bonds value payable? 4,700,000 less our par value of shares issued 2 million. So, once atong minus ang duha is equivalent to 2,700,000. Mao na siya ang atong share premium. Ganina kay ang na-issue kay ang shared man. So, atong share premium ganina is 2,500,000. Karon kay ang bonds payable may na-issue, ang nagawas, ang mao na siyang gamit ta sa ani nga formula. So, to get the gain on extinguishment of debt by using this method, mao gyapon atong i-minus. Kani always remember kanira nga gipang-asterisyan ako, ang maora ning gisalisdan ako. Maora ning gisalisdan. Kaning uban ani maora man gyapon. Maora man gyapon formula ni ja.
kani nga method kung ang bonds payable mo gigamit ang na-issued. Next, ang last katong ganina katong carrying amounts of bonds payable is used. Kung katong duha one issue kani nga formula nga pamaagi nato. Kay kani dili na ta makuha sa yang gain or extinguishment of debt. Kay kani kay kuan man kay carrying amounts of bonds payable is used. Nanaman tay carrying amount nga kuan. So carrying amounts atong gamiton. Carrying amounts of bonds payable is equivalent to 5,500,000 less par value of share issued 2 million. So in total na siya share premium nga 3,500,000. Mo na sa atong equity swap. Now, let's proceed to the next discussions. It's all about modification of terms. From the word itself, modifications, it means change. For example, sa atong interest, pwede siyang na siya reduction sa atong interest rate or forgiveness of unpaid interest. Sa atong maturity value naman po na or either na siya extension sa atong maturity date or na reduction sa atong principal amount. Under PFRS 9 paragraph 3.3.2 provides that a substantial modifications of term of an existing financial liability shall be accounted for as an extinguishment of the old financial liability and recognitions of a new financial liability. Under applications guidelines of B3.3.6 of PFR 69, there is a substantial modifications og kung ang atong gain or loss ay mo at least 10% of the old financial liability na siya ay substantial modification. However, PFR's 9 paragraph B stated that if gain or loss is less than 10 og atong gain or loss modification niya is less than 10%, yamo siya ay substantial modifications. In terms atong it's not extinguishment of the old liability. Therefore, there is no gain or loss modification rather than extinguishment. The difference between the carrying amount of the old liability and the present value of new or restructured liability shall be accounted for as gain or loss and extinguishment of debt. Excuse me. The old effective rate is used in computing the present value of the new liability. So, ang atong old effective rate may gamiton to compute sa atong present value of the new liability. For example, illustration modifications of terms of substantial modifications on January 1, 2020, an entity showed the following. Note payable due January 1, 2020, 14%, 5,000. Acquired interest payable of 1 million. The entity is granted by the creditor the following concessions of January 1, 2020. The acquired interest of 1 million is forgiven. B. The principal obligation is reduced to 4 million. C. The new interest rate is 10,000 payable every December 31. D. The new date of the maturity is December 31, 2023. This requires computations of the present value of the new payable using the old value. Another example, illustration of modification of terms, no substantial modifications, not payable due January 1, 2020, 10%, 5,000. Acquired interest payable. B. Acquired interest of 1 million is forgiven. B. The interest rate is 40% of payable every December 31. The date of debt maturity is December 31, 2023. This requires computation of the present value of new payable using the old rate of 10%. Here's the solutions.